This episode of Indie Mogul is brought to you by Storyblocks.
I mean, we've had some contact with our cameras, but here in the cars are actually
I'm sorry,
touching.
did you say we had contact with the cameras?
Yeah, we didn't lose a camera or a lens.
Like, wait, I'm sorry, what does contact
Well,
with
it
the
means you
cameras?
clip a matte box or, happens.
Hey, what is going on, Indie Mogul? My name is Ted. Today I'm here with Fade and Papa Michael, the cinematographer behind the movie Ford versus Ferrari. Today we're going to be breaking into the movie in terms of the cinematography, the lighting, the lenses, the camera. We'll be breaking into everything about the visual style in a couple of scenes. So, Faden, what was the overall experience of shooting Ford versus Ferrari like?
Well, it's my fifth collaboration with James Mangold, so I knew what it meant working with him. I mean, he's like a brother to me. I mean, we did Identity and then Walk the Line, 310 to Yuma, Night and Day, which also had a lot of action. So I'm into cars, I'm into that period. The movies that inspired me are from the 60s. I grew up in Europe, so, French New Wave, Brigitte Bardot, cool cars. I was aware of this story and I was aware of the GT. This is Ken Miles' car actually.
Here.
So the GT40. I mean, I've always had a connection to it. I mean, grew up in Munich, Germany, watched Formula One. I watched Niki Lauda, have his accent burned live in his car on TV when I was 12. So we found our way and we approached it very similar to the way we do any dramatic film, which is tell the action through Ken Miles and the driver and tell and reveal and show a lot of the action through his perspective. And we don't really punch in. We don't use multiple cameras, which a lot of action movies do, a long lens and a wide lens at the same time, but we like to physically get close. To me, what's interesting about cinematography is capturing these little moments that the actors give you. And
For the visual style of the film, there's a lot of inspirations here. What were the main things that inspired the look?
we have so many tools right now that we could apply, drones and helicopters and cable cams and amazing camera cars with Russian arms. And we've all seen, we're so exposed to incredible action scenes, Fast and Furious 9 and Born. And, we just realized, nothing beats really sending an actor out there on a car that is, either driven by him or driven, like it's called a pod car, which is like basically this with an extended chassis where a precision driver is driving it, but the actor is sitting in the car. Watching Grand Prix and Le Mans, Steve McQueen's Le Mans, pretty early on settled on, okay, it's going to be a widescreen movie, 2:4 aspect ratio. I wanted to shoot anamorphic and I wanted to shoot the Alexa LF. I felt just the characteristics and the flares of the anamorphics just looked sexy and the cars looked good. And that's also a look that conveys a little bit, that period, because you use that glass that's not quite as sharp and clean and little glows on the practicals and the headlights. It was just the quality I wanted. The issue was they don't cover the sensors. So Dan Sasaki, who's lens guru at Panavision, he's saying there, I can expand them and then, they can cover it. I'm like, well, can you really expand them? Because we're going to shoot in like 2 weeks. Basically, it'd be a prototype, that had never been done.
What was the final look?
A really interesting fall off, shallower depth of field, the way things rendered. It was beautiful. It had exactly the qualities I was looking for.
Let's go see exactly what that lens and camera combination looks like in a couple clips. Let's play the first clip.
Well, this is the introduction to Henry Ford II, the Deuce, in the Michigan factory. Of course, the movie was all shot in Los Angeles, so we took an abandoned warehouse downtown. It was quite elaborate set because it's a manufacturing plant and we had to buy like 30 of these Ford Falcons and create these assembly lines. And
So all of this was built in through production design?
all this was done, all these lamps, these assembly line, really prepared for this one scene. And the craziest part is that we only had 1 day to shoot the scene. So this was a very, very labor-intensive set. All this here is all completely covered and sealed by LED light panels.
So none of that is actually real sunlight coming in. This is all
That's like a huge box.
Okay, let's draw this out. Hold on 1 second. So, what does the scene look like?
So here you have this big factory, right?
Okay.
The sun, in reality, this is east, and it starts here, and it's going to arc during the day here by creating a big box that's basically a scaffolding. It's completely sealed, but then putting these light mats everywhere here, just a gigantic wall of LEDs. You have consistent ambience, which is streaming through here. You're not dealing with big condors or fly swatters that are blocking the sun. You needed the control of it. So here we left some spaces, so we bring in some beams as you go to some of the other angles, and we did put atmospheres so you get a little bit of hard light introduced coming through. Very often people tell me, you like natural light, and why do you use so many big... It's like, because we're inspired by what the natural light does, but we, unfortunately, unlike a still photographer that can pick that beautiful moment, I mean, we actually have to maintain this moment.
Did you rig all these lights here too?
All of that is period practical fixtures that our department provides the fixtures, and then we provide the sources. At the very end of the factory, there's actually a big green screen, so you can extend it because we only had 30 cars. It's supposed to look like they're assembling thousands of cars.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's go to the second scene. Here we go. Ready? All right, next scene.
Yeah, so this is the interior Shelby America, which was a shot in an aircraft hangar at Ontario, but in reality, when Shelby got funding from Ford, he moved his little shop in Venice to LAX, to big hangar, and started developing Ford GT40s. And then they would use the runway at LAX. They waited for the last plane to leave at 1 a.m., let's say, to Tokyo, and then they would go out on the runway and test the cars. So that's actually true. But this is a very interesting shot. A lot of people ask me about, because he's listening to the race. We wanted the effect. It's actually, people go, wow, that's amazing. Who came up with that idea? A guy goes, it's actually scripted. That was in the script. So then we were like, okay, great. Well, okay, it's scripted. So how do we do this? And, we thought of many different ways. I'm like, okay, well, maybe we get these cutouts and we take a very sharp hard light, like open face, So, we had a little cutout, basically like cut out little cars and 4-6 feet long and, and then we were going to do it like that, but it's just having a light on a dolly and moving it across.
Oh, this is cardboard? Is this?
Yeah, like literally like a 4x8 cardboard and cut out the cars and like...
That's what that is? It's actually
No,
just
that's
cardboard?
not what it is. I go like that, I don't know. That's
You tried it.
Kinda, yeah. So, but here, in reality, was a big car trailer parked. And I'm like, let's just see what if we just use this actual car trailer.
Wait, is
with
this
the cars.
on location on the day of?
Yeah,
or
yeah.
Is this planning beforehand?
No, I mean, that happened to be there. And we got a, extra slack of cable, and I had like 4 or 5 guys actually mount this and then literally just physically pull it, like run with it. And we did it with real cars in a real hangar. And I go, oh, that looks great.
So these are
I mean, if
totally
you saw us doing it, it would look like this. Doesn't really look like they know what they're doing, It's like, okay.
Tell me about the lighting in this space.
I used a lot of these practicals, fluorescent tubes. Then this light that you're seeing over here with the round light, that's a period light fixture. I ended up using those. We call them the double-headed monster. I use them everywhere. So that's what I use to motivate their key light. So I'm doing some color separation too. So I'm playing the sources that are hitting them warmer, and I'm playing these sort of work light fluorescent banks bluer. I mean, here you see, again, that work light just right down the middle, because I'm also trying to put sources in the shot, and as I'm dolling and moving, you see that the flares, it keeps the image more alive and it creates these wonderful optical effects. It's a classic, old school Hollywood filmmaking. We didn't try to get too fancy with it. You really don't want to overpower with visuals. I mean, the trick really, what made it look best is this kind of stuff.
Yes, this stuff.
When you're on the ground, tracking with them, you're in a camera car, which the stuff looks the most dynamic and the best when you're really close to the cars, really low, on wide. When you're panning a car on a long lens, it just doesn't look fast. There's situations where the tracking less than a foot, inches. I mean, we've had some contact with our cameras, but here, and the cars are actually touching.
Sorry, did you say we had contact with the cameras?
Yeah, we didn't lose a camera or a lens.
I'm sorry, what does contact with the cameras mean?
You're getting, clip a matte box or, happens. Now these close-ups, like the extreme close-ups, a lot of them are also done just with hard mounts. And we would also just have them being driven around in this pod car, and that's where you're getting a lot of the real interactive light. You get all the light moving across his face, and the vibration that you see is also something that's happening for real. I mean, it's you know, these cars are really shaking. You know?
Tell me about the camera cars, if it's possible to kind of draw out what some of these rigs look like.
With pod cars, like you have this where the driver who's controlling is sitting up here, but then you have these hostess trays where, you know, you're getting profiles, you have hood mounts or suction cups here that are putting your camera here, like shooting forward. You know, we have our camera car, which is everything is here. It's like pipe rigs, and you can put little cameras low in the back. We called it the Frankenstein car, but it's much more controllable than something with an arm, and the arm could swing and all that. So you can actually have this car, like that shot we see, where two cars are like almost touching. It allows the precision drivers really to cut it close and really have these cars come up inches away.
Well, Faden, thank you so much for breaking down the movie. It's absolutely insanely shot.
Obviously, we could go on forever.
Stunningly beautiful. We could go on forever.